Ashley, you work for a consultancy company that helps boost profiles of companies online. How much are we seeing a push towards digital media in this region?
Well, we did some research recently. We had about 500 respondents, which was great. And there seems to be a lot of excitement and passion and hunger and appetite for doing more in digital. I think almost 60% of the people that we surveyed said they were planning to increase their spend on digital marketing versus more like 40% on traditional marketing. So overall marketing's up, but digital in particular, there's huge appetite, I think, to do more.
Are there any challenges as we move towards digital? Looking at broadband in this region, perhaps it's not as good as in developed markets in terms of recruitment for people, for specialists in this area?
Yes, I think as with any kind of emerging kind of area, that there are certain challenges which are holding back maybe the speed of growth, and therefore some people getting a bit frustrated, want to do more faster, which is understandable. I think specifically the kind of commerce, so the e-commerce bit is less well developed in this region than certainly the UK and US, and that's partly because the delivery infrastructure maybe isn't quite there for home delivery. We expect now 1 hour, half-hour time slots delivery in the UK. We expect free delivery within certain regions. We expect it the next day. That's just normal, and so I think that's a challenge, and customer expectations. Online payment, I think, is still a bit more of a challenge perhaps here. Again, in the UK, US, most of Europe, it's sort of second nature to pay online. There's no concerns about fraud. The charges to the merchants are much, very low. So that's again is very normal. And the other thing which you mentioned is just the people and the talent and the skill base. So it's actually understanding what works, what doesn't, how to do it, having the right agencies, the right suppliers. So there's a need for that kind of best practice, those case studies, and just learning how to do it better.
You talked about back-end office in terms of online purchasing and things like that. What can companies actually do in this region to push more onto the digital side of things?
I mean, again, it's partly about experimentation and trying stuff and seeing, maybe what's working or not, what's not. But one of the other barriers which we've seen from the survey, and this is very similar around the world, is that it's partly a resistance to change, I guess, which is a sort of cultural things, but also that if you've done things in the past which have worked okay, people don't necessarily want to try something new because they're putting their kind of reputation on the line, they're putting money into something. What happens if it doesn't work? They look silly. So things usually start a little bit small, and if you can show that it works, then you can start to kind of grow it. But one of the things also, I think, is not looking at online in isolation, so just how well is the website doing, but for example, how well is the website doing in driving inquiries in our shops, driving traffic, as it were, footfall from the website visit to the store. How many phone calls is our website generating? So actually looking at how well is online supporting what we're already doing. And actually there are ways you can measure that, partly just by having, dedicated phone numbers, partly just by asking your customers, how come you're here today? Oh, I looked at your website. So it's measuring the value in the kind of traditional ways, but looking at, via online.